other, right? So let's create the cluster first, right? And before we go, we do that, let's see. Sorry. Yeah, so as you see here, right, uh, in order to uh, yeah, in order to create these Kubernetes objects, we have to have the cluster created first, right? And what I'll do is basically at first stage, what I'll be doing is I'll be using this image, right? And I'll be creating these pods and all those things with this image. We'll see when we access that load balancer instance, we'll see what outcome we are seeing. And then finally, I'll be making some changes to the actual code, and we'll see all the end-to-end flow through this CI to CD, uh, with the latest changes, if it is reflecting or not. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the cluster first. So in order to create the cluster first, I'm going to simply run a command called eks, think that's present in the this config, create cluster config, right? So in order to create the cluster, like if you see here, I'm using a node group of instance type T3 medium, and desired capacity is 2. So basically this config is to create the cluster, how many nodes you want to create within that cluster, right? So all those things I have defined it here, what would be the mean size, max size, and all those things. Okay, now you may be wondering that, okay, where are these pods resides? Are these like actual servers, actual EC2 machine? No, pods are basically a low level components in the Kubernetes world, right? So one EC2 instance can have n number of pods. And how will we know what is the n value? So basically, AWS has given a, I think they have a script that helps you to create or tell you how many pods can be created within an EC2 instance of the given type, right? So I think for T3 medium you can have probably, I guess if I'm not wrong, 7 or 14, I guess 7. There's again list that you can go through. So I think I have shared that list somewhere. If not, then I'll update that in the readme so that you guys can easily find it. But again, AWS has the uh, intelligence to figure out how many pods can be created within the EC2. So be mindful while creating the cluster. You have to tell your AWS, okay, I need these many pods for this given specific service, so please help me to create that. And how AWS would know? For that you have to define that, you have to first identify how many pods you want, and you have to select the right set of EC2 instance type. For this demo, I'm using this specific instance type, but anyway, I'm going to terminate this, because again this is for demo purpose. But in your actual project, you have to first identify the number of pods that you want to create, and then select the right EC2 instance type, and all those things you have to do it, right? So now let's start the hands-on. Let's see all these things in action. So for that, the command is eksctl create cluster, and then hyphen hyphen config file and equals to config file name. So once you do this, oops, okay, sorry, I'm in the wrong repo, so I'm going to run this now. Okay, so this is going to take some time, so let's wait for that. All right, it is showing that there's some problem. Oh, okay. Okay, it is saying that creating CloudFormation stacks EKS operation already failed, 400 bad requests already exist. Okay, it seems like it's already there. So let me quickly check. Oh, yes, it's there. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Maybe, previously I had used this, hence Is there? Delete in progress. Okay, let's wait for this to delete and then I'll recreate it. Okay, now let's see if it has deleted the, yes, it has deleted this stacks. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun the same command, right? So if you again, I would suggest to go through these logs so that you would get the idea what all things are getting executed behind the scene on your behalf by AWS, right? So it is reading all these configurations. As I said, this will take some time, so I'll skip that duration and then I'll start once it is ready, right? So as I said, as a result we'll be having a cluster created with a defined node group and all those things. As you can see, demo cluster app, this has been created now, and under this we are expecting two node group, sorry, two compute. So we should have like two machine created, sorry, one group. Within that group, two EC2 machines must be created, and that is what we see here. Now let's go and validate the EC2 within that same region, and we should have two EC2 machine created. Sorry, two or four. Let me see. I think desired capacity is two. Okay, so basically it's two, and two, why? Because uh, like the two node and two managed node, right? So, and these are the two nodes, as you see, the second and third, that are being created as part of this deployment, right? And all are in running stage. Now, what is this managed node? So managed node is basically, again, if anything goes wrong, let's say your node itself is down. So if you look at this diagram, if your node itself is going down, right, meaning you are losing all these Kubernetes objects that are created as part of the given node. So let's say you are running some application and all of a sudden if it goes down, who is going to handle that, who is going to manage that? So in order to manage that, right, AWS provides a free managed service, and that is what you see these two instance created here, right, to manage them. Now, coming back to this config, as I said, this config is being used to create the cluster. Now we have the cluster created, but what next? How Kubernetes would know, I have to deploy these pods, create these services and all those things. How it is going to know?